All right, we're here with 60 East.
What's going on, Jay?
60, take us back, man. When did you get involved in music, and who inspired you to do so?
I first got into music through my older brother. He started off DJing and then slowly got into producing. He went on to start an independent label, and I was basically street teaming for him at that time. And just watching him and my older friends basically just start rapping and start a label from scratch is what inspired me to stick with it, and I've gotten still doing it to this day.
And who were some of those acts that you saw along the lines that just constantly, whether it be artistically or their level of hustle, that inspired you?
I liked a lot of people for a lot of reasons. Early on, I liked Rakim. He was like one of the OGs that I really liked because of his lyricism and he's like a visionary. Like, his wordplay was just ridiculous. Growing up around 99, 2000 era, when Eminem dropped, his level of lyricism was a whole another level, and I really liked his songwriting ability, like songs like Stan and Kim, and just his topics were different, and he was really relatable. Tupac also, his songwriting ability was just on a whole nother level. His poetry, his presence, his persona, I always looked up to that.
Now, I know you've obviously been doing your solo stuff, but last few years you've hooked up with Timothy Rhyme and First Dirt and been a part of that association. Talk about how all that came about and really, what made you guys click.
I was doing my solo thing out here in LA around 2009, 2010, and around the same time I have a mutual cousin that lived in Sacramento, and he's a mutual cousin with Tim, who was part of First Dirt at the time. And he basically came down and recruited me. He saw I was doing my thing independently, and he told me, he was like, hey man, we have a team up north that could really help you break in that market. So I looked at it as a good opportunity of getting out of LA, because I've seen a lot of people do their thing locally, and it's the crab in a bucket effect. You can be big locally, but you're not known elsewhere. So I kind of took a different approach and started breaking in Northern California and still doing my thing independently in Southern California. So it helped me get my name out on the West Coast a lot faster than it would have if I would have just stayed doing it myself. And having a team is important these days. I credit a lot of my success to my team and First Dirt, and all the doors we've had open just because of all our teamwork, and all the doors we've been able to knock on just because there's a lot of us. It's a lot easier doing things when you have a team versus yourself.
Well, I know you guys were the act chosen for the big, festival, paid dues. Talk about, first hearing about that contest or opportunity, and, what you guys mobilized and what it took to win that slot.
Well, I first heard of the campaign. It was a whole idea started by MC Prototype, and he's actually from my hometown of Ontario, California. And he early on was one of the people I looked up to, because there was not a lot of local artists doing things where I'm from, and he was one of them. He had created an open mic platform in around 2010 when I first started performing. So he was creating a platform for independent artists to get heard. So he, in a way, was also like Murs, who created the pay dues for up-and-coming artists to get heard and give them a platform. So he was like a local artist that looked out for other local artists, and then he started his campaign. And the next year, Noah James did it, and I actually met Noah James at that pay dues, and I got to chop it up with him, and we've been friends ever since. And the next year, Curtis King did it, and a pattern that seemed to happen was, since the pay dues festival was held in the Inland Empire, it would always be an Inland Empire artist that took it every year, which kind of made sense because they want to draw in the local crowd, and they want the biggest local artists to bring in that crowd. And when 2013 came around, we felt that we had paid our dues. We had done, brought out multiple headliners with our own money. We had put together nationwide tours, started working with a lot of industry people like Jay, and we felt it was our time, and we took the chance, and we put together a campaign, an undeniable campaign. We took it across the country, not only spreading the word of our music, but spreading and promoting the Pay Dues Festival. And after a year, we successfully got on the festival. I actually got a direct message from Murs on Twitter asking for our booking information, and ever since then, that being on that platform changed our whole career.
And what was it like to be on that show that day and be backstage and knowing that the scope of the legendary artists that were performing that day?
It was a dream come true. I had been going to the Pay Dues Festival since it started as a kid, before I even took rhyming serious and making music serious. And I remember in 2009 being at Pay Dues watching Slaughterhouse perform, and I remember I told my friend, hey, one day I'm going to be on that stage. And 4 or 5 years later, I performed on the very same stage, and my friend that I actually told that to was in the crowd, and he came up to me at the meet and greet and told me, he's like, hey man, you probably don't remember, but like 5 years ago you told me that you were going to be on that stage, and today you actually did it. So it was a dream come true. Like, I got to, you know, be on the same level with people like Macklemore and Kendrick Lamar. You know, my trailer was right next to Hobson and, you know, all these people, and just being next to those names and being carried on as the same level, doing the meet and greet, doing interviews, performing on a big stage, it was a dream come true. I don't take that back for the world.
Well, I was there personally when the CEO, you know, Chang Weisberg from Grilli Union, shouted you out at IES, the Indie Entertainment Summit, and thanked First Dirt and congratulated you guys for the job well done. What was it like to hear Chang talk about you from the IES stage?
It was cool because Chang is we didn't even think we'd get Chang's attention. We thought we'd probably get like the lower level Grilli Union people and the lower level organizers' attention, but hearing the CEO of Rock the Bells and the same guy that's booked Wu-Tang and Nas and Lauryn Hill and all these people talk about us and compare us in that light and tell us personally that we've paid our dues was just as good as being on the festival. Just knowing that we got his attention and he respects us in that light was huge. You know, big thank you to IES for making that happen.
Well, I know you're definitely a student of the game and appreciate all that knowledge and know that it's about building relationships, building your team, building your knowledge. Well, we're talking about IES, Indie Entertainment Summit, which happens out here every year in August in LA. I know you attend a lot of these seminars and functions. Why is IES very important for aspiring artists, producers, managers, and executives to come to, and what can you really glean from it?
I like IES because unlike a lot of the other big conferences, IES is real intimate. It's real personal. You actually get to meet the people. You don't have a room full of 1,000 people trying to bombard the speaker. You could actually get a one-on-one conversation with them. And I personally got to talk to people like Steve LaBelle, Violet Brown, Chang Weisberg, Justin Hunt from Hip Hop DX. I've made relationships every year. Every year at IES, I meet someone new that changes my career the next year, and it's just a continuing cycle. So it's definitely somewhere that you need to be every year because you don't get these one-on-one conversations with these people very often.
Well, like we say, most of these people are impossible to get on the phone with unless you're already doing business with them, or you come through someone they're doing business with. But every year more and more people like yourself talk about those relationships they got started at IES. And I mean, a whole reason why we're so passionate about it is because there's so much knowledge out there, and there's so many different subjects, from social media to production, from songwriting to touring, from international to film and TV placement, from so many of these areas that going to a big party is cool, but if you're really trying to advance your career, a party's not going to do much for you. And we really appreciate your feedback. No, you and Tim and so many people get so much out of it. That's why we do it. We're very, very excited about that. Now, I know you just got back from AC3, and they definitely have a seminar component to that, and there's a lot of live performances. Tell us about that experience.
A3C was a great experience. Got to see, one thing I really enjoyed was the one-on-one panel with De La Soul. It's not something you get to hear every day. Hearing these guys talk about their career and the things they've gone through and their journey, and traveling with NWA and Public Enemy, and just tour stories. It's kind of like watching the NWA movie but listening to them instead of watching them. The performances, De La Soul Day was great. They brought out A Tribe Called Quest minus Q-Tip. They brought out Talib Kweli. We got to see Rakim and a lot of other upcoming acts. Throughout the week, we got to see Pharoah Monch, Crooked Eye, Joe Budden, a lot of the great up-and-coming acts right now. And it was good to see that A3C is just about hip-hop. They really created a platform for hip-hop artists in the hip-hop industry to come together. Their slogan is actually the annual hip-hop pilgrimage, and it really felt that way because you can tell the people are here every year, and they see the people that they saw last year and seeing new people come. And it's really, really hip-hop oriented, and that's one thing I really liked about it.
Well, you've obviously embraced the fact that making the music, the artistic side of it, you have to excel at that. And there's no question, without great music, without great lyricism or artistry, you're not going to go very far. But there's a lot of talented people out there. You really have to put these business concepts into effect. You really have to work the business, build your team, and get in there and work the press and media and the DJs and the blogs and the shows and the international and the film and TV and all that. Why do you feel it's so vital to stand out by really treating this like a business?
You're the CEO. You're the CEO of your business. If you want to succeed, you got to take your business serious. If you want to fail, then don't take it serious. If this is really what you want to do, you got to be prepared to work overtime and never stop working and not sleep and miss birthdays and weddings and all this stuff. I mean, I miss things all the time because I'm boarding flights to another event or another show, but that's because this is what I want to do. And standing out is so important because, the internet made the world so much smaller and there's so much competition. Everybody wants to be a musician. This is the business. There's no business like show business. Everybody wants to be in it. So the only people that are going to make it are the people that stand out. And by standing out, you have to work harder than everybody else. You have to take those long flights to shake those hands. You have to make those calls, send countless emails every day and follow-up emails. And at any given time of the day, I have 100 conversations going on in my email, in my phone, and on Facebook. And that just goes to show you the level of motivation and work ethic that you have to have in this business to be successful.
Well, we've all been mentored by others, and I know you're passing that torch on to others. I know you're speaking at a big conference out in Palm Springs this weekend, and we were up in Sacramento at the Irby together, and it's just so important to network and share information and all that. How important do you think building relationships is to growing your success?
Relationships is everything, and by everything I mean everything. Your network is your net worth. It necessarily doesn't matter how much money you have in your account, but the contacts in your phone book are everything. If you have a friend at a radio station, that's your way into the radio station and getting your record played. If you have a friend at a distribution company, that's the way you get distribution. A lot of the times, knowing people is worth more than money because those are doors that you can walk through that other people can't because they don't have those relationships. So one of the things is having relationships. Another thing is keeping them. Make sure that you're not just asking people for things. Make sure you have something to offer other than your talent. Even if it is interning work or just helping send emails or anything, just make sure there's I can't think of the word, but make sure it's a two-way street. It's just not one way. Always look out for your contacts.
It's give and take.
Care of them. Yeah, it's a give and take. Buy them a Christmas present, send them a card, anything. Just keep up with them when you can, and whenever you see them. The industry is small. You're going to see these people everywhere, so make sure that you're on their line at all times and they know who you are.
Well, that's a great point, and I certainly recognize in you that years ago that there's a lot of people that want record deals. They want to get played on the radio. They bombard these people and they want, and they're not really offering anything, or they're not trying to build that long-term relationship. They're just, play my record, give me a deal, sign me, and I know you recognize that, there's the tortoise and the hare, and we know who wins the race. It's the slow and steady, it's the growth, the areas of, really, building brick by brick that great wall, as opposed to the hare that thinks it's easy and they're just going to bombard somebody to, get rich and famous. Any last words of advice to the young artists or entrepreneurs out there that are, looking to build their creative careers?
Be organized. Write everything down. Have lists for everything. Build contacts, build relationships, and work hard. Work harder than everybody else. That's what's going to separate you from the pack.
Thanks so much, 60. Can't wait to see you on stage.
Thank you.